Hi everyone and welcome to a new video. In this video we're going to take a look at Crypto Raiders. We'll see how you can have some passive income with this game and how you can invest, and of course how you can play this game as well. If you're interested in finding out more, be sure to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe at the end of the video. If you're not interested in some of these topics, then you can use the timestamps that I put in the description of this video and you can just jump to the section that you are interested in the most. So what is Crypto Raiders? Well, Crypto Raiders is a pixel art blockchain game. Right now pixel art is very popular, especially in the NFT space. It's a dungeon crawler, mostly automated, so you don't need specific skills, you don't need to be a really good gamer. You just have to pay attention to the different stats and then put some time and effort in playing the game. Everything is based on the Polygon network, which means the gas fees, etc. are very cheap, and it has pretty complex economics. Of course, complex economics can be a good thing and a bad thing. Not everything has been integrated yet, some features are still coming, but right now we have a dual token system, so we have the Raider token and the Arbitrum token. We're seeing this type of dual token system with most of the gaming projects out there. So one token represents the value of the project itself, and usually this one is used as the governance token as well. So for example, for Axie Infinity, we have the AXS token, so the Axie token. In this case, this is the Raider token. And then you have a utility token that you can use in-game. For Axie Infinity, this is the SLP token. And in the Crypto Raiders game, this will be the Arbitrum token. So if you're looking to invest into the project, you should be looking at the Raider token and not at the Arbitrum token. Next up, we have something that I call a dual NFT system. This means that you as a player, you can go into the dungeons, and to do this, you need to buy a character. Of course, buying an NFT to play a game is nothing new, but what is interesting that you can also buy the enemies that the players are playing against. In Crypto Raiders, these enemies are called mobs, so basically you can buy a little goblin or a dragon or whatever, and the players will play against these enemies in the dungeon, and this means that both the active players and the enemies are being controlled by people from the ecosystem, people from the community, and this of course is a nice and interesting touch. Last but not least, and this is still being worked on, there will be tradable items, tradable resources, and so forth. Now, to give you a good feel of how the game looks like and what's going on, we go to the website, which is cryptoraiders.xyz. On the website, you can click on Play Game. As you can see right now, we have one little raider, and this little guy is level 1. He's got 0 experience and he has 5 missions left. So each character gets 5 missions for free. After that, you will have to use the Arbitrum token to buy a key, and that key will give you access to a new dungeon. So right now, let's click on 5 missions. Then we choose one of these missions. Of course, we are still level 1, so we're going to take one of these two. Let's take the Glimmer of Hope and click on Raid. Are you sure you want to go? Yes, we want to go. Next thing, the dungeon will load, and everything you'll see next is completely automated. So we just click, and then the character will start running around. You can keep an eye on the text, and sometimes there's a little interaction required, but other than that you can just let the autopilot go. In this case, our naked little guy is looking for a weapon, and we can see that he found something in the ribcage, and tada! Our first mission is completed. We got 0 gold, but we did get 200 experience, and we got a shabby katana. When we go back to our character page and refresh, we will see that we now have 200 experience, and we will have something in our backpack. Here we can see the shabby katana. There you go. From this day forth, we will have a weapon, and that weapon will give us 2 agility, 1 intelligence, 1 charm, and 1 luck. Update, and then we can go on our next mission. There you go. So on the second mission, we are getting some clothing finally, and we are earning 100 experience. So in our first 2 missions, we did not see any enemies. So I'll take a look at the third mission. We are too low level, so we'll probably die unless we run. But we'll take a look, and then you understand how the rest of the game works. So let's start. So as we can see, this is the first dungeon where we have a real enemy, and the idea is that the enemy is also owned by another player. So if you buy a mob, and you buy specifically this one, and in this case I would die, and probably if I don't run away then I will die, and if I die then the owner of that NFT will be rewarded for defeating a player. So in this case we'll just run away and not die. Alright, so what is the potential of this project and why am I looking at this? Well, the first reference that I have for you guys is Defi Kingdoms. Defi Kingdoms has been pretty hot in the past few weeks. So Crypto Raiders is following the narrative that we saw with Defi Kingdoms. So it's a combination of games, NFTs, and DeFi. So when we take a look at Defi Kingdoms, we see that the game is still 400 million in market cap and a fully diluted market cap of 3 billion. This is of course definitely impressive, but when we go back just before the crash in January, we see that the price was even 3 times higher, so the market cap was over 1 billion, which is definitely impressive. So if you look at what's going on in the market, if it's not crashing, then we see that there is still a lot of hype around gaming and metaverse, so we can check that box. There is hype around Polygon and layer 2s, so we got that one going on. And of course, we have those NFTs also integrated into this project. Other than that, when we go to the Raider token itself, we see that there is still a lot of room for growth. We're only at a 23 million market cap, so if we compare that to Defi Kingdoms, we can see that there is still room for a 20x. And when it comes to fully diluted market cap, same thing here. We're only at 300 million. And when we look at the price of Raider, we saw that run up, which was basically going after the hype of Defi Kingdoms. Then of course we had the correction here in January, but we are still holding strong above that $3 price point. So personally, I do think it is doing pretty well and is holding up pretty nicely. When it comes to community and ongoing development, I think the best place to look at is Discord. I've asked a few questions there already. The community was really quick to answer all the questions. They got a wealth of information there. Personally, I think that the website could be a little bit better, especially FAQ, but they told me that they're going to put that on the priority list as well. So they will be updating and expanding the FAQ on the website. When it comes to staying up to date on development and on everything around this project, if you don't have the time to keep looking at Discord, I do recommend signing up for the newsletter. Basically, you go to the main website and then click on blog. That takes you to this page. Then you can sign up here, or you can scroll down and see all the latest posts. So they're posting on a weekly basis, sometimes even more than once a week. So you can see that there's continuous development and they are really communicating actively with everybody in the community. So I like to see that as well. All right, then it's time to talk about the investment opportunities. Thankfully, there are two options. You can either be really active in the project by playing the game, or you have a bunch of options by passively investing into this project. So let's take a look at the passive solutions. The most obvious one is that you can stake your Raider tokens, and in return, you will receive the ARM token. So how does this work? Well, basically, once you signed up, you automatically have a Raider wallet. So once you're logged in, you click here, Raider wallet. So over here on the Raider wallet page, we can see that we get some extra options here. And over here we see staking. So right now we'll get an APR between 8% and 32%. And in return, we will get the ARM token. Scrolling down, we immediately arrive at our next passive income option. And that is, of course, providing liquidity. Liquidity will be provided on SushiSwap. And right now the options that we have is Raider Ethereum, Raider Matic, and ARM Matic, and ARM USDC. When it comes to returns, this is looking really healthy. There is an APR of 130% for this one, 140% for this one, and so forth. Very important to know, this is APR, not APY. So if you take the time to compound this on a daily basis, or you write the script for it, it's all up to you, then you will have some really nice APY by the end of the year. We also see that all these liquidity pairs will get you the Raider token. So what you can do is provide some liquidity, for example, in the Raider Ethereum pair, gather Raider tokens, and then put the Raider tokens in the Raider staking over here, and then start earning ARM as well. So then you have a nice little loop going on. When it comes to the liquidity pairs, personally, I'm looking at the Raider liquidity pairs and not the ARM liquidity pairs. The reason for this is I see more upside potential in the Raider token, because the ARM token, from a development perspective, it is more interesting to keep that one as low as possible, because if the price of ARM goes too high, then it gets too expensive to play the game. So that is my little thesis on the two different tokens, and that is why I prefer the Raider token. This covers the staking and the liquidity pools. You also see that I added bonding there. Well, they recently made a new post. So we'll quickly skip everything and go to the interesting part, which is the switch to protocol-owned liquidity. Now, what do they mean? Well, basically, if you're paying people to provide liquidity with your token, in this case the Raider token, you're actually renting liquidity. And of course, you can't keep giving people 100% APR. This has to come down at some point. So rather than renting liquidity, they want to own liquidity in the project. And to solve this issue, they want to use the protocol-owned concept, which was pioneered by Olympus. Yes, it's the same Olympus that we know from Olympus DAO. So they have a program called Olympus Pro. And it's very important, this has nothing to do with the Olympus DAO token. It simply means that they're using the smart contracts that they have developed and have been proven valuable, and they're going to use this to create bonds for the Raider tokens. So how does this work? Well, depending on when you bond your liquidity, you can get a very nice APR. So for example, instead of getting 175% APR over a year, you can now get 5% APR over 7 days, which is approximately 260 APR. Now, if you're interested in this, then you click on this link, go check out Olympus Pro. Make sure you put the network on Polygon, and then you will see 2 bonds. The first one is the one for crypto raiders. This is the Raider Magic bond. And as you can see right now, we have a return on investment for 7 days of 2.84%. We have a nice summary down here. So you will exchange your liquidity pair and you will get the Raider token in return. You will be vesting it for 7 days. And in return, you will get 2.85%. So if you want to do some quick math, 2.85 times 55, that should give you 156 APY in a whole year. Going back to the staking page, however, we see that it is still more interesting not to use the bond and just to use liquidity pair right here, because it's still 142% APR. Now this one will be coming down, and probably as soon as it goes down below 100%, it might be interesting to take a look at the bonds and then start buying bonds. The last thing we can do is invest in the NFTs of the game. As I said before, you can either buy a player or you can buy a mob. Personally, I think the best resource is not the FAQ on the website, but the FAQ on Discord. So you go to the Discord page, then click on FAQ, and then you get this nice little post. Let's first take a look at the Crypto Raider characters. Over here you can see that the floor price right now is about $100. And then you can buy one of these Generation 5s. Now, why would you buy a Generation 5 and not a Generation 1? Well, first of all, for the price. As we can see, the Generation 1 will probably be 10 times more expensive. So let's put a filter. These, of course, don't buy these. They are dead, so you cannot use them. And right now we see that the base price is 0.2. So at the current price of Ethereum, that is well below the $1,000 mark. I think a few days ago they were still about 0.3. So that means that the price has been going down for the Gen 1s. Now, why would you buy a Generation 1 and not a Generation 5, 6 or 7 or whatever is coming? Well, the Generation 1 gives you a 30% reduction, Generation 2 25% reduction, and so forth. So it means that if you want to recruit a new character, it will be 30% cheaper if you have a Generation 1. So how can you start recruiting? Well, as soon as you bought your character, you go to your wallet, you click on recruiting, and then you'll see all your available characters right here. Now, before you can recruit, you have to pay the price in ARM tokens, which is 3,000 ARM tokens. At the current price, that will be $120. Right now, I just recruited this one, and that means that if you are recruiting with a regular character, for example, right now level 5, then you would be paying $120 to recruit. But as we saw on OpenSea, they're being sold for $100. Well, how is that possible? Well, basically, if you have a Generation 1, you pay 30% less. So 30% of $120 gives you $84. So if I'm selling for $100, I'm still making a $16 profit. Alright, now that you know how you can make money by recruiting new players and buying the NFTs, let's take a look at the mobs. So mobs are player-owned in-game assets. This means that if a player encounters a monster in the dungeon, this monster is also owned by another person. So all these monsters are called mobs, and you can buy these NFTs on OpenSea as well. So right here we have the link, so let's take a quick look. So over at OpenSea, we see that the floor price is 0.17 Ethereum. This is a lot higher than the playable characters. Now, the reason I think is because we don't know what the return of these monsters will be. So right now, if you play a dungeon and you have to fight a monster, this is still AI generated and not player owned. However, in the upcoming weeks, all these characters will be introduced in the game, and they will be added to a pool, and as soon as your NFT is being used to fight a player and that player loses, you'll be earning the ARM token. Now, because we haven't seen this in action yet, we don't know what the return will be. So this maybe is a really cheap price, but it can be expensive as well. So if you want to play it safe, you can just wait until the game mechanics have been rolled out and integrated, and then we have some stats on what your return will be on your different mobs. Either way, this is a really cool way to interact with the gaming community and to earn some passive income. So if you have, for example, 10 of these beasts and they all give you 10 ARM tokens a day, then you'll be earning 40 cents. Times 10, you'll be earning $4 each day just by holding these NFTs. And I think that is a really cool addition to this gaming economy. So then we go to the active section. These, of course, are the people that are going to actively play the game. Personally, I think we have 3 categories. So we have the mob owners. This is the most passive thing that you can do. That's why I put them in the passive section. So you just buy the NFT, hold it, and then it will start generating the ARM token. And then it's up to you if you want to sell it on a daily basis or a monthly basis, whatever. You make it as active or inactive as you want. Next, we have the people who buy the Crypto Raider, the playable character. And then I think you can either have a farmer or an adventure. So a farmer will be doing quests. You can actually put your Raider on a quest and just leave it there, and it will start farming different kinds of items. Now we have the adventurers. Those are the people that are actively going to play dungeons. They're going to play at least the 5 missions per character per week, and some of them might even be buying the keys with the ARM tokens. So how does this farming work? Well, this is very easy. You go to your Raider wallet, and then click on quests. Then you'll see all your available characters. So we have our Generation 5 here, and then you click the quest button. Right now, the only one we can do is the hunt for Grimweed. This means that as long as he's on the quest, every 8 hours we'll be earning some Grimweed herbs, and we will be getting some herbalism experience. Why is this important? Well, if you want to get, for example, the Eye of Newt, then we need herbalism level 3. So what you can do is you can click quest, and then just leave it alone for example, a week. And then the whole week, your character will be earning the Grimweed and will be earning herbalism experience. So probably the week after, you'll be able to start farming this one as well. So as you can see, it is pretty passive. Right now, I'm questing with 5 characters. When we take a look at the quest status, we see that we almost will receive 1 extra Grimweed, and together we will get some herbalism experience as well. And then hopefully by the end of the week, I will be able to start farming the other side product as well. Now, why is this interesting? Well, in the future, you'll be able to trade all these different products as well. And in this case, you can use Grimweed and Eye of Newt to generate a minor health potion, for example, and that can be done in alchemy. Let's take a look here. In this case, we need 3 Grimweed, 2 Eye of Newt, and then we have 3 ARM tokens, which is, I think, 12 cents to generate a potion. This, of course, brings us to the last option, and that is actively playing the game. As I said before, you have 5 missions per week that you get for free, and after that you'll have to buy a key with the ARM token. Each mission has a different requirement, so these ones you need 2 keys, and I think the higher ones you need to buy 3 keys if you want to continue playing the game. Now, what else is interesting and not available yet? As you can see, you can start recruiting different items, and in the future there will be a marketplace. So even if you're playing actively and you don't want to do the different quests, you can still start collecting the items and start selling them on the marketplace. Next to just playing the game, as soon as you've leveled up enough, you'll be able to participate in tournaments, and you'll also be able to play player versus player. So this means you'll be able to challenge other players as well in return for winning the ARM token. Right, then it's time for the conclusion. Personally, I think there are a lot of investment options in this project. So even if you don't want to play the game actively, there are still plenty of options to play the game passively. Or if you don't even want to play the game, you can just buy the token, stake it, or provide liquidity. When you take a look at the market cap and just how old the token is, you see that there is still a lot of potential for growth. Of course, it all depends on how the market will evolve. Right now, we're in a pretty annoying little dip, and we're very dependent on what happens in the global markets. But let's just assume that the markets will recover. Then I think this is an interesting project to take a look at. When it comes to actively being involved with the project, well, I just made a little list of how you can start from low to high. So the easiest one is just buy a low-level character and flip it as soon as the price goes up. Very interesting to keep in mind. This is all on Polygon, so the gas fees also for flipping the NFTs is very low. Next thing you can do is buy the character and just play the 5 missions that you get each week. A little more risky, in my opinion, is to provide liquidity, because you always have to keep in mind that there is the risk of impermanent loss. The other thing you can do is, of course, buy the bonds. Right now, I think it's still interesting to provide liquidity rather than buying the bonds, but of course, the APR on the liquidity pools will go down, and at some point it will be interesting to start buying the different bonds. The risk here, of course, is the risk of the Raider token going down. If you're very serious about this project, you can of course buy multiple characters and start recruiting on a monthly basis and continuously sell the different Raiders and get some income that way as well. The final thing that you can do, of course, is start a complete guild. This means that other people will start playing with your NFTs and then you'll give them a share of the revenue. Alright, that's it for this video. If you made it all the way to the end, please post a little comment, then I know people actually watch it all the way through. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.